Hey everybody, Corey here, coming at you with another knife video. Today I wanted to go over my top 5 knives of 2021. I'm sorry, I get all bent out of shape when people just make a bunch of top X videos and top X pocket clips and top whatever. Anyhow, these are my top 5 knives of 2021. These are not necessarily knives that came out in 21. These are the knives that I've used the most, knives that I've enjoyed the most, knives that I've felt the best about in 2021. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure only one of these came out in 2021. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. First, I'm going to refer you to my video on the Civivi baby Banter. I titled it something obnoxious like the best small knife in existence or something like that. I totally feel that way. I still feel that way. My girlfriend has it, so I don't have it with me right now, so I'm not going to do one of these. But my God, for a knife that small, the ergos are so good because they put that full forward finger choil on it. The grind was great. The ergos were great. The pocket clip was great. The jimping was great. The action was great. The blade steel, Nitro V, like it was too good. It was too good, and I really think that knife, if it doesn't dominate the small knife market for a long time, I'll be utterly shocked. There's something wrong with their marketing if it doesn't make it, because that knife was just truly so good. I was expecting it to almost be like a joke knife and be like, here, girlfriend, a tiny knife that won't intimidate you. And letting go of that thing was actually, you know, I was sad. I'm glad that it's in the house, but it's not in my possession right now. So anyhow, next up on the list, the Giantmouse knives Ace Sonoma. This is one that surprised me quite a bit. So these are designed by Giantmouse knives, but they're manufactured by Reate. Anybody who knows me knows that Reate, dude. Reate. They do amazing work. You know, this knife doesn't drop shut at all. It's got relatively tight lock bar tension on there, or detent pressure, whatever you want to call it. But it's smooth as glass. It's absolutely smooth as glass. It feels amazing. The only qualm I have with this knife is what I talked about in a previous video. If you put any pressure from your finger on the lock bar, and I'm talking about if your finger is so much as just resting on that lock bar, it's basically impossible to deploy. You have to basically hang it off the edge of the pocket clip like this, or you need to just be on the pocket clip. And at that point, it's relatively easy to flip, but don't touch that lock bar. You know, for that reason, I struggle with recommending the knife because, you know, in what situation do you need to, I gotta get it out super fast and, you know, whatever. But I just had a few moments in public where I wasn't thinking so much about the fact that this knife is, you know, particular about how it wants to be deployed. And because of that, I've sat there like failing the knife over and over, you know, just at like Home Depot or something, because it's not necessarily intuitive. It's great in hand. The ergos are some of the best ergos I've ever felt on a knife. I love that they put the jimping further up on the spine, right where your thumb actually sits. Go figure. They don't make you do one of these things. And they've got this heavy contouring and chamfering along the edges, which is primarily why it's so comfortable. Some people have complained about the lanyard hole and how that's a hot spot back here. I don't even touch that. I don't even get back there. It's not a problem. M390 titanium, nice brass anodized accents, a glassy action, manufactured by Reate. This thing, I fidgeted with this so much, and it has never come loose on me. Reate, dude. Anyhow, moving on. Next up, this is going to be probably a surprise for some people. My custom PM2, and maybe that's not a surprise, because for me, the whole reason I like this is because it's a custom. Now, what I will say, I don't just like this knife because of the work that was done to it. The one thing that this knife needed, and I've said this from the beginning, were contoured scales, which is exactly what these are. These are the aftermarket Flytanium G10 Lotus scales. They were originally jade, but I got, you know, some custom work done on them. But regardless of the work done on the rest of the knife, yes, I got a sharpening choil modded into it. I think Spyderco absolutely needs to put sharpening choils in their knives. Nothing else on this knife functionally affects it, really. What really matters to me are those contoured G10 handles. If you watch my original video, the PM2, I say, man, it's not a bad knife, but it's so overrated compared to other things that you can get today. And honestly, you know, the S45 VN version of the PM2 runs you about $155. throw on another $45 for the Flytanium contoured scales, and you're looking at a $200 knife. Does that price offend me? No. I think the PM2 is a great knife. I think it's manufactured by a company that does know what they're doing, whether you personally enjoy their work or not. And you know, I think it's BS that you need to pay an extra $45 to get the scales that, in my opinion, should just come with the knife by default. But that being said, $200, I'm not offended. For Spyderco performance, specifically in terms of utility, in terms of cutting, I used this thing for the first time a few days ago. You just can't beat the way a Spyderco cuts. That's all there is to it. There's a reason they have the reputation that they have, you know. And I think the PM2 really is just a few modifications away from being a near perfect knife. So that's what I have to say. PM2, probably not surprising to a ton of you that it makes the list. Next up, knife number, well, they're in no particular order. My Reate New Torrent. Let's get you the full picture there. Now, I feel bad about this one. Because you basically can't find these anymore. I spoke to a Reate representative and they said that they were considering doing another run of these sometime in 2022. This is stupid. This is stupid beautiful. It is absolutely stupid beautiful. Now I think it's like 6.3 ounces. It's a heavy boy. You could pitch it at your enemy, and if you bonk them in the head, they're down. The action, I mean, it's Reate. The action is amazing. It drops shut right out of the box. No friction, no moving, no shaking. It's a drop shut knife. There's no blade play. It's perfectly centered. Look at these accents. You get an inlay inside of an inlay. You get a milled, anodized, brass colored titanium inlay inside of a carbon fiber inlay that has been set into the knife. You've got the stonewash bronze anodization all throughout the knife. You've got the bronze anodized hardware to match everything. You've got this dimpled backspacer where they anodize the inside of the dimpling. You've got the ceramic ball clip, and oh, by the way, you've got another inlay inside of an inlay on the lock side of the knife, which I hate asymmetrical knives. You've got the contouring. Look at that nice round edge right there. And you've got a blade shape that just wants to go to work. This one's really good. And you know, I almost didn't put it on the list because they're so hard to come by. But if you can snag these on the secondary, I hunted for one of these for so long. There's no regrets here. I will never let this leave my collection. This will be in my grave when I die one day. So, Reate New Torrent. And then finally, last but not least, y'all know it, y'all love it, the off-grid knives Scorpion. Guys, I cannot emphasize this enough, and unfortunately, in my review of this knife, I didn't know at that time that they have a V2, okay? So what you're looking at here, it's V1, and fundamentally, it's the same. But on V2, they've kept the price the same. They've done nothing but upgrade it. Instead of S35VN on the V2, you get M390, and they made all the hardware titanium instead of stainless steel. It was already amazing to begin with, and oh, by the way, look at that action. This is another one. Okay, I'm not saying every knife that drops shut is amazing, but when they do, it's pretty darn cool. This knife, I have beaten up on this knife so much. I've taken it out in the backyard and I've just chopped up sticks with it, and I've, cleared out bushes and plants and all kinds of things with this knife. This is my go-to knife when I'm leaving the house and I know that I'm going to use my knife. The ergos are great, the fit and finish are great. They used to be manufactured by WE, they're now manufactured by Bestech, which, depending on your opinion, I think Bestech has tighter QC than WE does, so that's all I'll say about that. The off-grid knife Scorpion, it's so good, and they're always in stock on their website. Just go get one. They come in all kinds of different finishes. You don't need to get the all blacked out one. They've got satin and raw titanium ones. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing, totally functional and fidget friendly. You can't go wrong with it. Guys, that's my list. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Pick these knives up if you're interested in them. These are all knives, whether I've reviewed them yet or not, that I fully endorse. Go get them. You won't be disappointed. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time.